Welcome to the I Love CVille Show. It's Jerry Miller. Happy Friday to you. It's good to be with you on a gorgeous day across Central Virginia. Fantastic program lined up for you with Mike Buczynski. Michael Buczynski, a legend in Crozet, a legend in real estate circles across Charlottesville and Central Virginia. He's going to join us shortly to tell his story and how his family came to Charlottesville and Central Virginia. Sarah Hill Buczynski, his wife, fantastic supporter of this program. Very excited to spotlight Michael Buczynski on the show. We will welcome him in a matter of moments. Before we do, let's pay some bills. Let's thank some people that make the show possible. Greenberry's Coffee, we love to talk about them. I'm drinking Greenberry's right now, baby. Greenberry's, for almost 30 years, a husband and wife started this business in Charlottesville, and now it's a global business. I talk about it often. They're in Japan, Portland, Oregon, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Washington, D.C. It all started out of the McIntyre Office Park and Barracks Road Shopping Center. I'd like to highlight one of the partnerships we helped put together here at I Love CVille between Caring for Creatures and Greenberry's, the Almond Brittle Latte. It's a brand new coffee for Q1, first quarter here at Greenberry's. The proceeds from the Almond Brittle Latte are donated to Mary Burkholz and Caring for Creatures. So if you want to do well but while also drinking your coffee, I encourage you to go to Greenberry's and get an Almond Brittle Latte, because I think you're going to love the coffee and you're also going to be doing good for a charity that needs your help. Let's give Harris, Dr. Wagner, some love. Scott Wagner of Scott Wagner Chiropractic and Sports Medicine, good friend of this program. We are Dr. Wagner's advertising agency of record at VMV Brands. He is doing amazing things at his practice, Scott Wagner Chiropractic and Sports Medicine. He is changing people's lives constantly. Who's got your back? Scott Wagner of Scott Wagner Chiropractic and Sports Medicine has your back. A lot of people on the stream. Dougie, I see you, Doug. Keely Kitchens, Carol Schwab Barnett, thank you for joining us. If you guys can like and share the stream, whatever channel you're watching across the I Love CVille network, that would mean the world to us. Harris Tolber is our director. And Harris, on that note, I think we welcome Mike Buczynski to the set, my friend. Mike, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, my pleasure, man.
Let's talk about how you guys got to Charlottesville and Crozet and Central Virginia. Before we get to that, I'd like to get to know Mike Buczynski, the man, the father, the husband, his hobbies, his passions, his interests. Put it all in perspective for us.
Oh, geez. So I'm pretty, I think I'm a pretty simple kind of guy. I'm all about my kids. I mean, that's like the main thing that drives me. But, you know, we'll love to hang out, and like I love basketball. I love playing basketball with the kids, coaching my son's volleyball team. Try to get involved in a lot of charities just to give back. So I'm involved in Cville Gives. I was a board member of our trustee member of our church. I've done a lot of barbecue charity events where I have this huge smoker grill. So I'll do barbecue chicken, which I used to do competition barbecue in Maryland. So when we came here, I wanted to like take over the barbecue world. But unfortunately, smoked beat me to it, so that wasn't really happening.
Justin's so good at smoked.
Oh, he kills it, man.
Yeah.
It's so good. It's so good. So then we moved here, and it just kind of fell in love with the area, and just tried to get, it organically grew as we got more comfortable and put down roots. So
you have a great personal brand. You have a great professional brand.
You.
Sarah Hill Buczynski, your wife, great personal and professional brand as well. Stacy McDaniel, George Collier, Brent Lilliard, thank you for joining us on the stream. Like and share the stream and give Mike Buczynski some love, please. Let's talk about your involvement in the community. And
sure.
I think you do it extremely well. You mentioned Ben D'Alessandro's Vaba. You mentioned Cville Gives. You mentioned the barbecue chicken competitions. I mean, from what I gather, and I think your wife has the similar characteristic, you guys like to be, you guys are the epicenter of introductions of people. You know a lot of people. She knows a lot of people. You like to connect people. And it's done purely from a genuine, altruistic way, because as you've gotten deeper, more roots in our community, Charlottesville and Crozet, you've met a lot of folks. And you like those folks to meet other folks that you know and see what can happen from that. Talk to me about that.
Well, it's funny. When we first moved here, we were walking down the mall, downtown mall, and I just remember being like, we don't know anybody. This is you know, we made a mistake. I'm not sure, but they were like, oh, it's beautiful. The food's great. And now walk down the mall and you run like 50 people. So I love the fact of how small and almost Mayberry-ish, like elegant Mayberry, Charlottesville is, because you just know everybody, but there's so much cool stuff to do. And that just, like you said, it just evolves organically into where you're meeting people and, oh, this guy does this girl does this, and you just connect everybody, and it's amazing. I love it.
Jeff, is it Schaffer?
Schaefer.
Jeff Schaefer says, great guy right there. He helped us with our mortgage. A trusted senior.
Moxbox, that's Jeff.
Yeah,
Jeff
giving you some serious props right here.
Yeah, Jeff's a great guy, man. He's doing such a cool gig now. He's doing marketing work for CrossFit. So he's like linking up with like Rich Froning and Tia Toomey and all them, and he's like traveling and going to the CrossFit games. Basically, like one of the coolest jobs I've seen. So congrats to him, man. He deserves all the success. He's a great guy.
How about your Omar Campos? Thank you for joining us on the program. Sarah Hill, your wife, your beautiful wife, thank you for joining us on the program.
Hey, sweetie.
Hey, sweetie.
What's up, girl?
How you doing?
How you doing?
Joey Tribbiani from Friends.
Right.
You and I have a lot in common, I can already tell. How about the Crozet piece, man? You guys have found a home that fits you,
Dude,
your
such
family.
a hilarious story.
Yeah, tell us.
So we were straight up living in my in-laws' condo at Walker Square, and it was like 8 people in there. It was like the weirdest thing. It was like my father-in-law, mother-in-law, brother-in-law, sister-in-law, Ava, Sarah, and me. So it was not very conducive to a long-term situation. So I was commuting from here back to D.C. to work, which is not recommended.
Right.
It's not cool. So I was running back and forth, and we were looking for a house, and I remember I was Googling, and I found a house under our price range. We were trying to get something under $300 just to get our footing here. And I was like, where's Crozet? And her dad was like, no, that's Crozet, Mike. He calls me Buck. He's like, that was Crozet, Buck.
Your father-in-law calls you Buck?
Yeah. That's
Okay,
what I got like 500 nicknames.
I got to ask you about that. I don't mean to interrupt you. Continue your story, but I'm going to follow up on Buck after that.
And then we went out and saw it, and just kind of the neighborhood where we are is a neighborhood called Gray Rock, and like we got to the house, looked out, and like the mountain's right there, and I was like, done. Let's make this happen. So we did that in August of 2009, and I unfortunately had to commute back and forth to D.C. for like a year and a half. And right at like the breaking point of that, I decided to get a job here at Stellar One Bank doing mortgages, and then that evolved into working at Movement Mortgage, and then that evolved to where I'm now at First Heritage. So
I love it. Valerie Easter giving you some props right now.
Valerie, what's up?
Valerie Easter, great people, great friend of this program. Greta von Kirchman, thank you for joining us on the show. Bill Granford, Jonathan Galasso, John Gilmer, Nick Ward, Nick the Quick Ward, intern for me when I was doing broadcast radio. I believe he's in the real estate game now, Nick Ward. Quentin Johnson, thank you for joining us on the show. If you have a question for Mike, put it in any chat box on Facebook that you're watching. They are all aggregated on this computer right here, and I'm happy to relay to him. How about Buck, the nickname? Where did Buck, the nickname, come from?
I like to hunt, maybe.
Okay.
That's it. And
Okay.
and last name's Buczynski, so he just started calling me Buck.
How many times have people
He was trying to country me up a little bit. He's from Singers Glen,
Okay.
Virginia, so it's like it's birthplace of sacred music of the South.
Cool.
Cool little area, no traffic lights. So he's from there, which is right outside of Harrisonburg. So we would go visit there all the time, and I was super city. Like, there's a funny story that the first time I met him, my sister-in-law's boyfriend was telling me about a fish fry.
Okay.
And I jokingly was like, oh, what's a fish fry? Like, I knew what a fish fry
Sure.
was. You fry fish, you go out and eat it.
Right.
And to this day, they're like, you didn't know what a fish fry was. And I'm like, come on, guys.
Come on,
I
guys.
wasn't
Let's
that
get beyond
city folk.
that.
Yeah, exactly. I wasn't that city folk. So.
You're getting props from Maureen Holler McKenna.
That's my sister-in-law, yeah.
Yeah, she says, go Mike, sound and look good.
Thanks,
thank you,
sis.
Maureen, for doing that. How about
she is, you got to have her on. She is a phenomenal wedding planner.
Yeah?
Her and Dickie Morris, they're phenomenal.
Let me throw this to you. The Sarah Hill and the Mike Buczynski romance. I mean, you're a strapping guy. You're jacked, got good looks right here. You're a charming dude. Did you sweep in and
No.
charm her off her feet? Talk to me about that.
No chance. She funny story. She's like the only person in the world that got into UVA but didn't go, I feel like. So she went to Salisbury, and all my buddies went to Salisbury. So I went down there all the time to visit, and she was working at a bar called Mulligan's. And I went in, and Mulligan's had this video game that it was a live crab claw thing that you could actually get a lobster.
Okay.
So we'd go and drink and try to get a lobster for like $1 and end up spending like $30. It would have been cheaper just to buy one. Anyways, so she worked there as a bartender. I met her. I was like, oh, she's awesome. I was talking to my buddy Ryan. I was like, maybe you could help introduce us. Got to talking to her. And then I came back down like a month later and went in and said, hey, it's me. She had no clue who I was. Didn't remember me at all. So I had to like reintroduce myself again. And then we ended up going to Mackey's in Ocean City for the fireworks. And that was the night where we kind of hit it off. And it's been clear sailing ever since.
I feel like Mike Buczynski has some game. Do you not have some game?
I didn't. No.
You did not have game?
I didn't. Maybe. I don't know. I got Sarah.
Maybe we'll ask that question to Sarah Hill, who's watching right now.
She'll say no. Absolutely.
She's going to say absolutely no game?
She's always putting me in my place, man. There's no chance she's going to let me get a big head.
That's what my wife does as well. April Dent Ward says, my mom used to work at Stellar One Bank. Gail Brown, she was the appraisal assistant at Stellar One Bank. She says, you guys sound great.
Oh, thanks.
Sarah, your wife is saying taco eating contest followed by the best body contest.
Yes, I didn't win either one of those.
You did not win the taco contest or the best body contest?
I made the bad decision to enter a taco eating contest at that same bar, and then immediately afterwards enter the best body contest.
Well, that's not going to work.
No, it didn't work at all.
You had like 15 tacos in your belly?
Yeah, didn't work at all. Didn't work. Didn't even come close. I went for the comedy aspect of it. That didn't work.
I feel like you and I have that in common, where we are not opposed to like, not making fun of ourselves a little bit. Kind of like, you know what I'm saying. That you know what I'm talking about, right?
Oh, if you can't laugh at yourself, what's the point? I mean, because everybody's just way too easily
uptight.
Uptight. Thank you.
Yeah.
Right now, so you gotta laugh at yourself. I try to instill that in the kids, like. Have a sense of humor. Don't take stuff too seriously. Let it roll off your back because it'll eat you up. If you're trying to like keep up with the Joneses or make sure that you're living or commoditizing your life on Facebook or whatever, you're gonna die a million deaths every day trying to keep up with that. So just chill, enjoy life, take a walk, be with your family, and
live in the moment.
It'll be totally awesome.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. With a lot of people asking questions right now, how about the tie to the University of Virginia? Your Sarah's family, some strong ties to UVA.
Yeah, her dad, Hunter Holler, shout out to Hunter, Triple H as we call him.
Triple H.
He grew up in Singers Glen, Virginia, and dude loved baseball. So he ended up getting a scholarship to come to UVA and pitch, and he actually lived in the old gym. So like he used to tell stories that it was like 2 in the morning.
Gym?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was like 2 in the morning, and they'd play basketball all night. Like how cool was that to be in college and live in the basketball stadium? But he pitched for UVA, threw like a one-hitter against Georgia Tech, and then went on to a very, very successful banking career throughout Virginia and Maryland. And actually, the cool thing is he has the visitors' bullpen is actually named after him. It's like Hunter Holler dugout or something like that. So it's pretty cool. But his brother totally one-upped him.
How?
His brother threw a no-hitter here.
Really?
Yeah, so I always give him a hard time about that.
And do you have another tie? Does she have another tie? Is a lineman?
Oh, my cousin, Ken.
Yeah,
my first cousin, Ken Buczynski from Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. That's kind of where I spent all my childhood. He played offensive lineman here, and I think started 3 years. So there was a Buczynski that has gone to UVA.
I love it, and I think all these family ties probably opened up your eyes to the opportunity of Charlottesville, Virginia as home. You told me a crazy story about a bank robbery and how it encouraged you to move to Charlottesville. Do that from start to finish. Listen to how he and his family were influenced to move to Charlottesville thanks to sniper rifles and a bank robbery and a holdup.
Oh, so going back, so Sarah's family was living here, so we would come and visit all the time before any of this craziness happened. So we were coming down here to visit and falling in love with going out to eat and things like that, right? And then we were like, you know what? Maybe we'll move one day. Maybe we'll decide to relocate. And your family's down here. Unfortunately, my family's a good bit older. My brother had moved to Florida, so it kind of made sense. So we were kicking around that idea, and my wife Sarah was like 6-7 months pregnant with Ava, and we had kind of been, we're living up in the D.C. metro area, and everywhere you go, you're in line. Everybody's in a bad mood. You're just anxious and angry all the time, right? And we would come down here, and I was just like, this area kind of like heals your soul. Right?
Yeah.
You get down here and catch your breath, and life's good. But then the moment I feel that way, we'd have to go back up. So I was looking for something like a catalyst just to say, yeah, you got to do this. And a Bank of America got robbed up by our house. And I was coming home, listened to it on the radio, went to turn it to my neighborhood, and it was blocked off. I couldn't get in the neighborhood. So I asked the cop, and he's like, oh, yeah, the guys that robbed the Bank of America have run into the woods, and the woods were directly behind my house. So I called Sarah, and she's like, I can't even come out of the house. I don't know what to do. And she's like, wait, there's people in the backyard. And I'm like, who are they? She looks down, and she's like, it's SWAT team with guns drawn. So there's literally SWAT walking through our backyard, looking into the woods for these bank robbers. And then finally, they caught the guys, and it all diffused. But by the time I got home, like the first thing I walked in was like, we're moving. It's done. Like, done. So, and then that led into the several months later, the Crozet story and all that, and then the rest is history.
The rest is history. You're getting some props on the feed. John Whitcop.
It's my cousin John.
John Whitcop says, you're doing a great job. You sound amazing.
Dude,
we have a lot of folks from Nest Realty jumping on the stream right now. I see you, Janice. I see you, Jonathan. Thank you for joining us on the stream. If you can like and share the stream, that would mean the world to us. Meredith Coe, thank you for liking and sharing the stream here. Bobby Castine, John Updike, and Kenny Gilbert, thank you for joining us on the show, along with Greta Von Kirchman, who just shared the stream. Like and share the stream. Let's give Mike Buczynski some props here on the I Love CVille show. How about your career, okay? So you come to a new market. You're coming to a new market as in, guys, what I love to do on this program is highlight entrepreneurs. And a senior loan officer, granted, that's what he is now. It's not what he started with, the position. Loan officers are entrepreneurs. They have to go out, bring a book of business in, find a book of business, make contacts, make connections, build trust. It ain't easy, especially when you're talking about a real estate transaction like purchasing a home, which is extremely stressful. I mean, a lot of times, and I've done this a number of times now, so I've figured out the lingo, but I remember my first time, it's like PMI, it's this, and that, it's this. It's confusing, it's complicated. Let's start open-ended and say, how did Mike Buczynski, the entrepreneur, build his business in Charlottesville in Central Virginia? What were the steps you took?
It was necessity. It mainly was driven by putting my children in a better place to grow up and getting out of that situation of being angry in line and all that. Because when I moved here, I had 10 years under my belt in Maryland. I had over 1,000 clients. We were doing fine. And we moved here in 2009 right after the crash, and it was done. Like I was literally paying our mortgage with our home equity. Like Sarah was working, she stopped to stay home with Ava. So we went from having it all figured out to legitimately having, like reminding me of growing up watching my dad like roll pennies so I could go to a basketball camp. Like not realizing how difficult life and finance really is until it hit. But it was all for the sacrifice. So then we got here, and I started over again, took a job. It wasn't going the way I wanted it, so I got involved with Movement Mortgage, and they put me in a Real Estate 3 office. And I met the late, great Pat Jensen. Yeah. She was so phenomenal. And got involved with her. And a funny story about Pat. I sat down in the office. It was like this back closet-y area. Sat down, was all excited to get started. And she walked in and said, hey, how you doing? And I was like, oh, great. She goes, what are you doing Saturday? And I said, nothing. Why? She goes, you're doing bras for a cause for us. Bras for cause.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I was like,
where men have to wear bras.
Yeah. And I was like, all right, I guess that's what I'm doing.
I mean, you can't say no to Pat.
No, you cannot.
No one says no to Pat.
And then she showed me the bra, and it was the gaudiest, goofiest looking thing. I was like, all right, fine, we'll do it. So they give me the song, and I'm like, that's not me. I can't do it. So I kind of did my own thing. I came out to save a horse, ride a cowboy, and the place, oddly enough, went crazy for it, and I ended up winning the Bras for a Cause event that year.
What was your go-to? Why do you think you won it?
I tore the shirt off.
Yeah, Mike Buczynski.
Tore the shirt off, threw the hat.
You went Superman with the bra?
I didn't know what to do. I panicked, so I went to that, and tore the shirt, and I did that, and then that evolved, and I've done Bras for Cause now like 4 or 5 times. And then, like I said, that evolved into management, and really what it came down to was just the grind, man. Getting up every day. It's not a race. It's a snail's pace. You just grind it out. and meeting people, doing right by them, trying to be as genuine as possible. And my big thing is I'm like the anti-salesperson. Like I try to come across like legitimately like I'm not in it to sell you. I'm going to counsel you. I want to be a trusted advisor. And then if it works out, great. I've had folks who are like, hey, we found a better rate, or we have a different product we want to do here. And I'm like, okay, great. You got questions, still come back to me. Like I'll look over and I'll give you advice to talk to that lender about, because it's the right thing to do, one, and then, potentially those folks are going to remember that and maybe send a friend or family member.
Yeah, you're all about the long game.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm the same way. It's all about the long game. And if you take anything from what he's saying, and let's turn that into a sizzle reel, Harris. That was money right there.
Started sizzle.
Yeah, started from the top when he was even talking about with Pat Jensen and the Brawls for a Cause, and then how he went all the way into what he does well. I mean, we talk about the long game often on the show. If you're not driven by money and materialism, and you're truly driven by like leaving Charlottesville or whatever town you're in a better place, that's going to show in every aspect of your life. And eventually, if you give more than you take, you win in the long game. And that's exactly what you're talking about. Talk to me about that.
We're a pretty religious family. So, and the main thing that I want to try to do and instill in the kids is just make sure that just don't be selfish. Do the right thing. If you see somebody needs help, help them. And it all comes back to you that way, right? So that's why we try to get them involved in a lot of stuff we're doing. So like they'll go and help me out with if I do the barbecue events. We did one at Pro Renata for our church, and probably a ton of the people on the stream came out and supported us. We raised like $3,000.
Nice.
And it cost me like $100 in materials, and we raised $3,000. But my kids are out there helping. John Shabe out at Pro Renata was kind enough to let me host it there. So it really just comes down to, I think, just giving back because you want to give back, not because you want to get something out of it.
Totally.
And then life kind of works around because, I mean, we're just, you're only here once. You don't want to be a jerk. You want to do right by people.
Love that.
So
that's a sizzle reel, Harris. That's a really good one right there. Ava and Noah say, Dad, you're the best. And we are so proud of you right now.
Thanks,
Ava
guys.
and Noah.
Are they watching? Mommy, are they watching?
Are they watching, Sarah Hill? Ava and Noah, let us know in the chat box. Like and share the stream. Let's keep the spotlight on Mike Buczynski. Pat Jensen, I got a Pat Jensen story. And Pat Jensen, guys, if you do not know Pat Jensen, she has passed away. She is an absolute legend in Charlottesville and Central Virginia.
Total rock star.
Total rock star. Started, I believe, with an auto parts store before she got into real estate. Chris Jensen, her oldest son, is a very good friend of mine. Eric, Brian, and Sarah, Pat's children, have become good friends of mine. And here's my Pat Jensen story, which I think you can relate to. I am looking to, so I buy my first place in the villas at Southern Ridge. Okay, this is when I was 24. This is when Jeff Gaffney and Real Estate 3 were doing 5 phases of built-in equity at the villas at Southern Ridge. And I got in with phase 1. Mm-hmm. And phase 2, prices were going to go up 10 grand. Mm-hmm. And phase 3, prices were going to go up another 10 grand. Phase 4, another 10 grand. So the people that bought in phase 1 obviously had some immediate equity if things went according to plan. Mm-hmm. Well, long story short, that was 2008.
So
No. Bought this place at arguably the worst humanly possible time possible. But what positive from this? I still own the place. It's a rental property for a single mom and 3 children. They're fabulous. But in the 7 years of me living there was a gentleman I got to know above me. His name was Chris Jensen. Mm-hmm. And Chris Jensen and I become really good friends over this 7-year period. I get to know Pat and her family, Doug, the kids, everybody. And I'm like, this family's awesome. They're like us. They keep it real. They're like authentic. What you see is what you get. And then we choose to move from villas, keep it in the portfolio, to Redfields. And Chris, I'm like, why don't you be my agent? And he's like, all right, I'm going to bring Pat in the mix. And Pat, the entire time, was so like, it was never about the deal.
It was like motherly.
Yeah.
Right? Totally motherly.
It was never about the deal. It was like, what's good for you, Jerry? We'll spend as much time as you need, Jerry. And this is like literally like so stressful. I was probably like at times losing my temper, like being emotional, and she was even keeled and consistent the whole time. Yeah, and she made like that whole process along with Chris so fantastic. So why don't we, she's a legend. Why don't we spend a couple minutes here talking about like the Pat Jensen and the magnitude of Pat Jensen in real estate in Charlottesville and Central Virginia?
She was when I got here. She was obviously already super well established, and she was really more involved in mentorship now. And she wasn't. I don't think she was doing a ton of her own stuff.
She was like a broker.
She was broke. Yeah, she was the head broker for the office. And she was just involved in so much, heading up Ross for Cause, the Women's Council of Realtors. That was the first time I did a big cook down here. Was we went to her house. She had the whole Women's Council of Realtors party there, and I showed up with a big smoker and grilled out. So she's just
all pan tops.
Yeah. She's just an amazing person. Welcoming to me. She took me in like I was, her own son, kind of a thing. And then I remember the last time I saw her was she had just gotten she had to get like a surgery to relieve pressure on her brain, and she wasn't doing so hot. And I think she passed away like 2 weeks after that. But went in and everybody was there, and it was kind of like a goodbye Pat party. But I remember her saying a couple of things like she was in no way self-pity. There was none of that. She was just a stand-up person, and you came in, she hugged you, welcomed you. But I remember her saying distinctly, like, don't let like the Women's Council of Realtors thing stop. Like, keep coming back here. Do it at my house. Let the memories live. Let the fun times live on. And that's what she was all about. She was such a spiritual kind of juggernaut of a person that you just couldn't help but be drawn to her. So, I mean, wherever she is right now, I mean, I know she's
in heaven.
She's making so many people happy. Right
Undoubtedly
now.
in heaven.
Great people. Great
yeah,
people.
let's
and
give
just
that.
one of the great people I've met. In the 9 years I've been here.
Yeah,
so
she is truly special. Let's start this is a reel from my reflection on Pat all the way to Mike's answer, which I think was on point. Andrea Yancey, giving you props. Thanks for joining us, Andrea Yancey, on the show. Kelly Corbett Guriton.
Kelly's a processor in our office.
Okay, Carrie Wilfong, Bonnie Campbell, Candy Hark, Matt Terry. Thank you for joining us on the show. Let's give this a like and share and ask Mike a question no matter where you're at. Ann Burrows is about to ask a question right now. We'll get to that question, Ann. Finish your thought in the chat box if you could. How about Colleen Tyler? Thank you for joining us on the show. She's a real estate agent in town. A lot of agents watching here.
Yeah. Kind of necessary in my line of work.
I love it. Talk to me about the dynamic between you and the agents in Charlottesville and Central Virginia. You're well respected.
Thanks, man. It's like I said, it's just an organic grind, just getting out, meeting people, doing the right thing, and doing right by their clients. Doing right by their clients, not missing closings. You're not going to get a second chance if you miss a closing. But from a real estate standpoint, I think you just connect to people similar to you. Like Jonathan Kaufman, he and I have just become straight up friends.
He's watching.
Like, he's a good guy. He and Greg Slater purchased Crozet Creamery out there. So we'll go by
in
there.
In the Piedmont place?
Piedmont place, yeah. Which Drew Holsworth built that.
And I believe that was initially Michael Comer's business. And he sold it.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
now Slater and Kaufman are doing flavors like UVA versus Virginia Tech.
Jack
flavors.
Salted caramel ice
Jack
cream.
salted
There's
caramel
a picture
ice
of
cream.
him with a ball over his head.
Yeah.
And my daughter, Ava, if you're watching, I'm totally selling you out right now. She loves Jack Salt. Oh, God, there's a hilarious story about that. I got to tell that story. Remind me to tell you that story.
The show is yours, sir.
But we'll go there all the time. We'll go to Fardowners, and the kids will just crush me to go to Crozet Creamery and get food, or ice cream. So it's funny. So the story about Ava is we're in Marshall's, and we're walking around, and my son Noah, who is a little squirt, he's still a little squirt, but he's like this tall. He comes up to me, he's like, "Dad, that guy's really tall." And I look over, and it's Jack Salt. And I know Jack Salt somewhat because at the school my kids go to, Covenant, there's a parent-teacher game. And the UVA men's basketball team will come and play.
Cool.
And I used to play ball. I grew up playing ball. Like, I had visions of playing at Maryland and all that stuff. So at one point during this game, I'm running point guard, and it's like Jack Salt, London Prentice. I threw an alley-oop off the backboard to Diakite, and he windmilled it. It made my day. So we kind of have a little bit of connection to these guys. So I was like, maybe he'll still know me. I don't know. So I walk up, see Jack Salt. I'm like, "Hey, Jack, remember me?" And he goes, "Hey, Mr. Mike," and that Aussie accent of his. And I'm like, "Remember Ava and this, that?" And he says, "Hi," and, "How you doing?" And he walks away. So we had gone there to get my daughter a hoodie for basketball, a warm-up type hoodie. So she puts this hoodie on, and it's too small, and she's trying to get it off. She has a shirt underneath it, right? So I'm like trying to help her. I'm like, so grab the hoodie, pull it off. Pull the hoodie off, everything comes off. She's sitting there like this, right? And Jack Salt's right there looking at this. And my daughter freaks and dives into one of the circular clothing racks and just hides. And I'm like, dude, you've got to get out of the clothing rack. She's like, I'm not coming out. So he leaves. So the final part of the story is Ava's at school and they're doing creative writing. And it was supposed to be a true story. So Ava writes this story down verbatim, right? We go to her parent-teacher conference. And her teacher comes up and she's like, listen, Ava's so creative in writing, and this is a great story, but we wanted it to be a true story. And so I'm sitting there, I'm reading through the story, and I stop. I'm like, yeah, it's 100% accurate. And she's like, we thought she was making it up. I'm like, no, that legit happened. So that was my Jack Salt story.
That's awesome. And class act from Tony all the way down to all the players.
Oh my God, they're like, Tony just epitomizes class.
Yeah,
man. That
totally
guy is
does.
just.
It's like so
class.
cool. Like if I have a man crush on somebody, it's Tony Bennett.
Yeah, mine was Brett Favre until he broke my heart. But I
What,
guess
with the pills,
the scandal and how he's doing with his wife and all
Yeah.
that shady stuff. But so Tony's probably mine now. I must
Yeah.
say. But the thing I love about him the most is he's very religious. He's very respectful of other people's wishes. He's humble. Humble is an understatement for him. But when they lost that game against UMBC, like I can only imagine the talk he had in there. And I guarantee you, it wasn't about we lost and we're coming back next year. It was about family, God, loving your friends, taking care of people. And I'm sure he turned that all back around to how they were going to come back 100 times better. But I guarantee you the way he did it was in not a typical like Krzyzewski screaming kind of way.
right? Where he's like putting people down. He's like building them up.
Yeah, he just builds you up.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's why that's so important is look at him. Yeah, Krzyzewski's got. I get fired up about college basketball. So Krzyzewski's got the 1, 2, and 3 players in the country. Right? We got 1 5-star recruit in Kyle Guy. Right?
From Indiana, Mr. Indiana.
Yeah, Mr. Indiana. So Tony's taking these players who were not castaways, but just weren't highly recruited, instilling greatness in them and getting them to the point to where they are crushing teams and barely lost to the quote number 1 team in the country, right? Or number 2 team.
You talk about Duke at Cameron.
Yeah, at Cameron.
Yeah.
So it's just if you can take and be a leader of men that way, he's not getting these guys ready for life. Not ready for like a career after basketball. He's preparing them for life. How to be a father, how to be a business owner, how to move forward. And the fact that UVA landed him, I mean, they should name a quarter after that guy right now and be done with it. So like just
we can never risk losing him ever.
Sign him for a lifetime contract and be done with it.
I totally agree. Dude, that answer was so money. Let's give Buczynski some props on that. Like and share the stream here. You got some questions coming in. First, Sarah says Ava's going to kill you. For telling the Ava story.
Good.
I don't think she will.
You need to listen to your dad, and I won't tell stories.
Colleen Tyler says, you're doing a great job. Ann Burrows says, Mike, we'd love to have you cook for the WCR picnic again.
Yeah, bet. Let's do it.
So Ambrose, he's in. Talk to me a little bit about what you're seeing from, you said, when did you move here, 2009?
Yeah.
Okay, what have you seen? Because you have a good head. This is what I've seen so far with meeting you. You have a great skill for human connection. You're a very likable person. You're a man of faith, like me. You're sincere, authentic, and genuine. You're trustworthy. You have a good head for business and in analyzing things. Where I'm going with this is, you moved to Crozet for family and for schools. How have you seen Crozet change since you've moved there? To put in perspective, the businesses, the people, what you've seen happen in Crozet.
Oh man, it's been a very rapid expansion in Crozet because when we moved there, like I said, one of the first memories I have is the 4th of July parade, and I was like, this is where I want to be. It reminded me of where we used to go in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, just very, very business rural. Everybody shopped at the local shops, things like that. So fast forward to now, and we're getting built up pretty fast, which I get, you need to put, people need housing, and that's important. But my concern is how the infrastructure is going to handle it out there, because, I remember driving through Crozet when we first, I can equate the housing boom in Crozet to how long it takes me to get through that one stop sign down at the corner. Because before, you never waited that. And now you're like lines this way of people. So it's definitely getting built back up. I hope that with that build up, it's not just all housing and people. I hope they're going to bring in more like accoutrements for the area. Like I'd love for them to have like a downtown mall like we have here with the amphitheater. They've kicked around that idea. So I think
it's got to happen at the lumberyard.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, what's
up from Fardowners?
Yeah.
So I think that's what they're going to do. I hope they do that because I think it would just make. I've often heard you say, does Charlottesville tie in with Albemarle County? Should that be part of the connection? And I think it should, and they should evolve to that to where there's multiple just great areas to go. Like we'll go, like for example, we go every Wednesday to King Family Vineyards. That place is amazing.
That's amazing.
It's like we get to go and in essence use someone else's property, and the kids run free, and you sit, and it's a beautiful setting. Your friends are out there, and like I said, it literally calms your soul. Like you get out there, and I've become friends with the guys out at King. Carrington and I went to Maryland at the same time and didn't know it, and he was walking through King Family one day and had a Maryland jersey on. I'm like, dude, go Maryland. And he comes over, and we get to talk, and he's like, I played lacrosse there. And I'm like, oh, do you know this guy, that guy? So we've become friends.
What's the King family like?
The King family is great people. Yeah, great people. Really, James, he served in the military. Super awesome guy. He is actually, if you want to talk about philanthropic efforts, he is part of the Water Boys.
Chris
Long singing this year. So he and Chris apparently went to school together and best buds.
At Stab.
I guess.
St. Anne's Belfield, yeah.
Yeah, I guess so. Chris Long does this thing called Water Boys where they climb Mount Kilimanjaro.
Yep.
And it's to raise money to put in clean water wells, deep bore clean water wells in African townships and things like that. So, and you might be able to see who's going to be part of it this year if you guys can look it up. But I know like Rashad Evans, the former UFC champ's going to be it. There's a couple NFL guys. So he does it. I think Chris does it where it's sports stars and then military vets. And so James is a former Marine. I guess not former. You're always a Marine once you're a Marine. So he's doing. So he's been training and posting videos, and so I'll like and share them for him, things like that. About his trip, he's going to be going to Kilimanjaro and climb up to the top of a mountain. So
I love it.
Crazy.
I love it. I love stories like this because there's so many positive ones. The entire thing we're trying to do with this show, unlike perhaps the news outlets, is showcase the positivity in Charlottesville, Virginia. Arielle Balesi is giving you props. She says you're sounding great. I'm sorry if I messed up your name there, Arielle. I truly apologize. Andrea Xavier, thank you for joining us. April Dent Ward, thank you for sharing the feed. If you guys can like and share the feed, that would mean the world to us. This gentleman, along with being a successful senior loan officer at First Heritage Mortgage with my boy Mike Buczynski. Buczynski is good, people.
He's a good dude.
Talk to me about Mike Buczynski.
He's good.
Because he opened the office.
He did, yeah. He was with BB&T, and then, what was it? First Heritage was looking to get into this market. They sought out Mike, and I think he, gave him the Heisman for a little bit. But then, it all worked out great. And the thing I like about First Heritage is we have all the products of big, larger banks, but we have such a quick ability to adjust and adapt and move. To the market. So we're not like bogged down with bureaucracy inside of our corporate offices. Like I can call Alex Wish, our president, right now and say, hey, I got a deal or a crazy transaction. Can you help me work through it? So anyway, Buczynski came over, started the office, and just has crushed it ever since. He's a good guy. Didn't he help you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He helped me initially. We ended up going through I'll just say an alternative option, Andy Zeman, but he ended up helping me and was so good. He was so honest. He was so fair. He was so, I could tell with Buczynski, it was not about the deal. It's the same thing with you. I could just tell when he was he took time out of his day for a phone call. He took time out of his day to meet with me. He's like, I'll come to you, whatever you need. It was not ever about the deal. And it was like the same thing with you, where it's like, this is about the relationship for me. It's not about the deal. I love that aspect of it.
Well, it has always amazed me. I would get calls on the weekends or at night, and they're like, hey, the guy I usually work with won't return my calls or said I can't call him on the weekend. And that just blew my mind, because when that phone, let's be honest, when the phone rings in the mortgage industry, it's money. It's you're paying your mortgage, that kind of thing. So if you're not willing to take those calls at any time, and I try to do it like a concierge approach. That's why I tell clients, like, I'm yours 24/7. You need me for anything, call me. I'll walk you through it, because my job is not, in my opinion, not hard, because it is relationship based. It is setting right expectations. It is product knowledge. It's just doing what you got to do, right? Making it happen for people. So if you screw that up, you're failing yourself. You're not working hard enough. You're not studying enough on your products. You're not doing the things you need to do to solidify those relationships. So I think from a mortgage standpoint and how I approach clients, it's not laid back, but it's just non-salesy. Like, I'm not, my whole thing is, I'm not going to retire off a year one loan. Like, I'm not. Like, it is, like you said, the long game. So if someone comes in and needs help and their credit's messed up, like, we're going to work with them, and a year from now they'll come back and they'll appreciate that. So you treat everybody the same way, whether it's $1 million deal or a $100,000 deal. You treat them with respect, dignity, and you work your butt off for them, and it pays off. That's
Give that a sizzle reel for Buczynski. That was money right there. Candy Hark.
Candy.
Candy Hark jumping in the
Cville
mix.
Gives. She's one of the Cville Gives founding members.
She wants to talk Cville Gives. Candy Hark, thank you for offering that perspective here. So let me set the stage here. Board member?
Well, one of the founding members.
One of the founding members of Cville Gives, this gentleman right here. It further reinforces, or it further justifies, it further gives empirical evidence and data that this gentleman is altruistic and philanthropic and involved with the community. Cville Gives is doing big-time things. Let's first start open-ended, and you introduce the audience to what exactly is Cville Gives.
Okay, Cville Gives, by our definition, is a philanthropic networking organization. And really what that means is we'll have monthly happy hours where you can network professionally, but we're going to tie in all of our funds for one greater good, right? So we're pooling our resources to make a big impact each year. So we'll get together every month, and I think it's a great transition coming out of college life into a young professional's life, right? So we'll have monthly happy hours with a lot of local areas. The next one is the 21st of this month at Livery Stable. So Duggar, thanks, man, for hooking us up. We'll go there. There'll be drink specials. People come out, talk, mingle, and we invite a nonprofit to come out. And the nonprofit will come out, and the goal is to get the nonprofit to really connect with our membership, and our membership to connect with the nonprofit, so we can extend the education of local nonprofits, right? So our first year, we struggled through it a little bit, but we ended up knocking out a $10,000 grant, right? So we held our grant night, and we teamed up with Tom Tom on the very last day of the Tom Tom Festival, the day when they had the concert, and we went and we had it at the Haven, the old church building.
Sure.
That blew me away when we walked in. It was a church. I was like, this is meant to be. But we had 6 finalists, and our members voted, and City of Promise won. So we gave $10,000 away to City of Promise. That night, we invited everyone to come and help raise money, right, for all the other groups. So we invited everyone to come participate who was a finalist. There were 6 finalists. We ended up raising another like $12,000 or $15,000 the night of,
nice,
and distribute it to everybody. So fast forward to last year, we had it at Three Notch'd Grill. They were so gracious to host us there.
Three Notch'd Brewery?
Three Notch'd Brewery, yeah. So gracious. That place is phenomenal.
It is phenomenal.
One of the coolest spots around. We had it there. We had, again, 5, 6 finalists. We were teamed up with Tom Tom again. We're on the news. Like, made a great impact. We gave $10,000 away to who was it? Abundant Life Ministries.
Yeah.
Who Michael Guthrie is like a huge supporter.
Dude, I keep hearing Abundant Life Ministries constantly. I literally got a text message from Matthew Gilligan, who's on the board. And Matthew, I will respond to you about Abundant Life Ministries. I mean, this organization is like crushing, dude.
They're crushing it. And last year, the The something you've commented on a lot here. Last year, the theme was affordable housing. So we send out. What we do is we. God, I'm firing this off. I need to slow down. All of our members pay $200 per member, or it's $300 per couple. So you get a little break, right? We pull that in, and then each happy hour, we'll pull money in from the happy hour host, and they'll give us money. We have corporate sponsorships. So like First Heritage Mortgage is a corporate sponsor.
That's awesome.
Our other corporate sponsors, Darrow and King LLC, Summit Realty, Posner Wealth Management, so they kick in too. So we're able to raise a good bit of money. And as we go through the year, we'll send out RFPs around this time, so requests for proposals, and we'll say, this is our theme. Our members have voted on a theme. This is what our theme's going to be. So our theme this year is food insecurity.
That's awesome.
Which when I first heard it, I didn't understand what it really meant, but I guess the Webster's definition is it's a state of being without reliable access to sufficient quality and affordable food, nutritious food. Uh-huh. So basically that means like, yeah, you're eating, but you might just be eating like a McDonald's Happy Meal or something. You're not getting nutrients, right? And people worried about that. They worry about their kids, right? So we put out an RFP and said, this is our theme for the year. And we got a bunch of responses, and we're in the middle of whittling through that right now and figuring out our finalists. And then what will happen is we'll announce the finalists. They'll come and present in 10-minute presentation. And then all of our members who want to come. So, and that's the other thing. If you want to join Cville Gives and be a part of this, like really helping out the community, helping out with food insecurity, things like that, you can still join now. You can still be part of this RFP process and help us decide who our finalists should be.
It's almost like, and let's turn this into a sizzle reel, Harris. And Colleen Tyler wants to know where the next Cville Gives is for this month.
21st,
yeah.
5:30 p.m. at Livery Stable.
Okay, so 21st, 5:30 p.m., Livery Stable. Thank you, Colleen Tyler, for that question. It reminds me of like a Shark Tank for Charlottesville charities.
Yeah, that's great. That's a great description. But I think I'd take it one step further because it's also that they come out, they get the pitch dry there, but I love the organic kind of correlation between our members, new members, people that wouldn't understand it, people coming out of UVA into the professional world, like, I don't want to do it with my life. Maybe I'm feeling lost or I'm not sure. I mean, get involved and giving back, and you have no idea. You'll get it 100 times back. So coming out and getting involved, and our members learning about the nonprofits learning about us, it is such a win-win, and it's just an amazing thing to see us grow. Like, I would love to see there be a Cville Gives type thing in every college campus around town, man. Maybe you can help me rock that out with your business way you know how to do things. But,
yeah.
I mean, that's the vision I had for us. But, we're here now. If people want to join, you go to cvillegives.org, sign up, donate, and be part of our RFP process. And then we're going to have April 8th is our grant night. Okay. So the first night of Tom Tom Festival. We're going to be one of, if not their featured event. And we're going to get news outlets out there. I mean, it's going to be a big deal. So we got another 10 grand we're giving away this year. In the last 2 years, we've raised and given away over $50,000.
That's awesome.
So this year we got another 10 to give away. We've got another charitable raising night event that's going to happen that night on the 8th. So all the nonprofits will come. Everybody come, donate. Let's try to raise another 15, 20 grand. And what happens with that money is it gets distributed to the people that didn't win the grant. So nobody walks away empty-handed.
Love it.
So
love it. Mark Wagner, thank you for joining us on the program. Seja Maya Gala of the Ishan Gala Foundation watching us on the show. She's fantastic people. Thank you, Seja. I see her husband all the time at ACAC. They're doing some good things.
Their son, Archer, goes to school with my son, and they played basketball and soccer together. It was soccer. They played soccer together. And so we became friends through that. They're possibly some, everybody you say is like nice, super nice people.
In this area, right?
Yeah.
Aren't we so lucky?
It is. Like I said, it's so hard. Like, you got to go out of your way to be a jerk around here.
Really?
Like, oh man, life's tough. I can walk down the street and get a beer and listen to free music and then go hike on the mountain trails, or there's so much stuff to do, and you're just just gonna sit there like I'm grumpy. I hate what I'm doing. I'm like, come on, man.
Right. I mean, here's why I like it. And Seja just gave us some props. She says, I absolutely love this. Great to see y'all, Mike and Jerry. You're doing big time things. Thank you, Seja. We salute you. I mean, I say the same thing, dude. And dude, you've already filled 54 minutes.
Sweet.
Of the interview. This is what I love about it. Okay, you and I have a lot in common. Okay, relatively same age. We're both into sports. We have big time 36, big time ACC sports in the area. Yeah. I love to be outside with my dogs and my family. I love food. Dude, I love beer. I mean, I love good beer. There's so much good beer in this area. My wife loves wine, loves so much music. I mean, I feel like, and I know I say this over and over again, and I'm going to throw this to you and why you love Charlottesville and Central Virginia. Dude, it has everything we need. It has absolutely everything. It's what you said, the intimacy of Mayberry, but the cosmopolitan feel of a much bigger area.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's like New York, but nice. Like, I don't know how, it's just, there's so much theater, and you can literally do anything you want within 30 minutes of the epicenter. You can go skiing. You can run over to Stanton and watch the Blackfriars Club, which is like the only true recreation of Shakespeare's theater. I mean, if no one's gone to that, they need to go. That place is amazing. And actually, Candy Hark, who's with Cville Gives, is the new board president for the Blackfriars Club this year. So she helped get us involved in checking that out. But you can literally do anything. You can go skiing, fishing. I like hunting. Go hunting. You can go to wineries, vineyards. So people are coming here. We're a destination for weddings. Like, that's a big deal. You're going to do your biggest moment of a bride's life, and they're coming here to do it. I mean, I kind of want to hush.
You want to keep it on the DL.
I want it to be our little thing. I don't want everybody getting in here and getting in on this.
Right.
I don't know.
We'll see. Let me throw this to you here. And I ask every guest this question. We celebrate Charlottesville so much on this program. How about what you think could improve the area? Anything. Charlottesville or Central Virginia. Crozet, anywhere in Central Virginia. What does Charlottesville, Central Virginia need? What should change? What could be done differently? How does the area, and I'm talking Central Virginia, not just the city of Charlottesville, how does the area in totality improve or need to do to get better? Tough question.
It is tough. I think just coming from the D.C. metro area, as we grow as a city and everywhere, I don't know how you do this, but some type of transit.
Public transportation.
Public transportation.
That's a good one.
If there's a way to get to Crozet and stand like a red line down there somehow, we're probably talking a lot of money to do that.
That's a great idea. I totally agree with that.
But that, I mean, that's going to, because as you come down 64, like if you come down 64 and the exit to get on the 29, you're like kind of Jesus take the wheel moment. Like people are just almost crashing into each other. It wasn't designed for this much traffic, right? So it's not going to get any better. So one, we need more infrastructure. Way more infrastructure. Out in Crozet, we need more infrastructure they're going to have to redefine the water treatment plant, because I think it can handle like 1 million households, and they're going to blow that away pretty soon. More infrastructure, more public transit, housing, big thing you comment on all the time. I loved Guthrie's idea about taking neighborhoods and turning properties and leaving the same aesthetic view, but turning them into
love that idea.
2-unit properties.
Yeah, duplex, triplex, quadplex.
Yeah, amazing.
Without changing the exterior.
Yeah, because what you don't want is I get what people don't want. They don't want coming into our neighborhood and right across the street, you set up 6 of these brick box buildings, and you're like,
right, they don't fit the character of the hood.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that, and we need a crab place.
Yeah, you said that.
We need Baltimore crab. We need to ship in Baltimore crabs, dude. I'm jonesing so
bad. Where do you
bad.
get your crab fix now? Do you have anywhere?
Restoration.
Okay.
Old Trail will do a crab feast every once in a while, but it's not Baltimore crabs, man. You got to have Baltimore crabs. There was a place down by what was that building? It said where Charlottesville students and townfolk come together for breakfast.
Oh, it was the tavern.
The tavern.
It's now been destroyed.
Yeah, so right behind that was a seafood place.
Oh yeah, it was Anderson's.
Yeah, so we got crabs there
Ted
one time.
Anderson is now selling the crabs. Ted Anderson, also an entrepreneur like this. And Chris Jensen, welcome to the show, Chris Jensen.
What's up, brother?
Yeah, Chris Jensen, we were giving you some big-time props earlier. In fact, Chris Jensen, I was telling the story about you living above me at the villas. He and I used to play poker nights where we would come, I would come up to Chris's condo with he would have the cool purple bag, the Crown Royal purple bag.
With the chips in it?
Filled with quarters. No, we would just, it
quarters?
would be a friendly game.
Oh.
And we would play like
Was it Hold'em?
Yeah, it was Hold'em.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
he'd have the Crown Royal purple bag. I would come in with change in my pocket.
Oh, I was hoping you were going to say fanny pack. Yeah. I was psyched for you to say fanny
Me
pack.
and my buddies and Chris would play at a spot. Chris Jensen, we love you. Alex Discordia joining us as well from Roy Wheeler. Ted Anderson, an entrepreneur like us, he is hustling his crabs now on the side of the road. Like he'll put on his Facebook,
Really? Where?
I'm going to be at this place. You should follow him on Facebook. And give Ted Anderson some props. Someone
Ted
tell
Anderson?
Ted Anderson we're giving him props here. And Chris Jensen says, thanks, fellas.
Yeah, brother, anytime.
KJ's good people. He will say, I'm going to be at the corner of so-and-so from this time on this day with my cooler. Get your orders in now. You can meet me here to pick up your crabs. And he still has the connects for the seafood.
I got to get on that, man, because I go through like withdrawal for Baltimore crabs. We'll go out and visit my folks. They're still kicking it, and we'll go up and visit them and just run down to a place called Bottom of the Bay in Laurel, Maryland. And get crabs, and it's like that was one of the things that I didn't think through when we moved here was not being able to get a crab fix.
He needs some crabs. Someone help this man get some crabs, baby. You know, we're winding down this program. That could go in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I was going to say, steamed crabs. Steamed crabs. Old Bay season
crab. Harris is laughing his tail off over here. We're winding down the show here, but I want to highlight the entrepreneurial story you had, where you were talking about when you were up in, was it Northern Virginia, the D.C. area, and you're with your home, and you were taking the home equity line to pay the mortgage because Sarah was at home, with your kids.
That was when we were here.
That was when you were here.
Once we had a house in Crozet, and I couldn't sell my house up there because we were so turned around. We moved here. I went from having a dual income household to I think my first year in 2009, the full fiscal year, I made like $25,000 in the mortgage industry after closing over $30 million in production a year for that. You don't make $30 million, but
right.
what I mean? So we got here, and I was like, well, we're going to have to make it work. We got to make it work. So just knowing what I know about credit and how you don't want to get yourself into situations, we just dug in. I wouldn't recommend this for everybody, but you got to believe in yourself.
Bet on yourself.
I bet on myself. I said we're gonna make it work. We didn't overextend ourselves. We bought a relatively affordable house. I drove my Chevy Colorado until it hit 230,000 miles, and it died in my driveway. Bled to death from oil. Like we scrimped. We went all the way, and we were paying our mortgage on the home equity line of credit, and then I'd have an okay month, and then get us right. And man, it took every bit of 7 years to dig out of that. Like there were times you get anxiety, panic, you freak out, you're worried about your kids, going in the room at night, rubbing their head, like tear run down your face. How are you going to make this work? And God, by the grace of God, hard work, friends, support from friends and realtors and stuff, we kind of dug out of it. And so that being able to do that and having, like I said, faith in God and His ability to guide me through things like this, it really taught me that once you fight through that, He's going to give you what you need once you get through the other side, right? So I got through it, and once I got through it, I was like, I have got to do something to help people and give back. So we just started finding things to do, helping out here a little bit here, helping out there, and then we got with Cville Gives, and we're crushing it with Cville Gives. And I'm hoping folks will listen to this message and realize that, it's a cool organization. Like, we have fun. It's not stuffy. Like, we're doing happy hours at Fitzroy. We're doing happy hours, at Livery Stable. We're doing happy hours at Three Notch'd. You name it, we're going there. And you're getting to see your friends and meet. And a lot of times we'll have free drink tickets or things like that. So we're not just taking your money and saying, thanks, kid, get out of here. Like, you're meeting new friends, you're meeting people. Like, I became really good friends with Tunji. basketball player. Remember
Tunji.
Yeah,
Troye.
Yeah, Troye.
I think he works at World Strides now.
He does.
Yeah.
He does. But I remember watching him on TV, and now he's like one of my buds. Like, we'll text pictures of our kids and stuff, and I'm like, dude, we're doing this, we're doing that. So it's just so amazing who you're gonna meet, like how you're gonna connect, how you're gonna help other people. So please, I want to look right at the audience. If you are watching this or know people, please look into joining Cville Gives. We're making a huge difference in our community. We're helping nonprofits. We are helping connect people, and you will feel so good about getting this done and helping us get to the next level. Because my goal, and I think our whole group's goal, would be someday to be giving $100,000 away to local charities. So please, please, please look at cvillegives.org. Help us out. And come out to our Tom Tom event on the 8th.
That right there is the most important sizzle reel, Harris. From the start of his hardship, all the way down to that answer right there. I thought that was so authentic and so genuine and so money. We are now at the 63-minute marker. This was one of the easiest interviews we have done. You are so easy to chat with. I want to give you an opportunity. Anything we haven't covered, anything that should be out there, anything we've missed, people, businesses, influencers, supporters, props to the lady, props to the wife.
To the wife.
Anything.
She gets all the credit. She gets all the credit. She stayed home with the kids, for 7 years so I could get reestablished here, and now she got back into real estate, and I couldn't have done it without her. Sarah, I love you. You're awesome. I'm not going to cry on camera, if you're wondering.
Okay, are you going to cry?
I'm not going to cry.
It's getting close to it.
Not going to cry. I was trying to build that up. Did a little acting for you. No, but no, she's amazing. She's such a hard worker. She's smart. She's so smart. She just destroys me in the intellect realm, and I'm so thankful my daughter got her intellect. I'm so thankful, because if it was me, it'd just be working. It wouldn't be this great.
Oh, stop! You're so ridiculous. You're being so ridiculous right now.
But no. I mean, if there's anything else you want to know, man,
that was great.
I can chat.
I think you were so good, guys. Michael Buczynski, First Heritage Mortgage, Cville Gives. Get involved with Cville Gives. He crushed it today. I thank you for joining us.
Thanks, sir. Appreciate it.
I want to remind you of something. I'm taking a week hiatus. Next week off for the I Love CVille Network. I am at our satellite office in New Providence, New Jersey, from Monday to Friday next week, servicing our clients in New Providence and Chatham, New Jersey. But that's going to energize me next week to get back in this saddle Monday the 18th, where we're going to introduce new shows on the I Love CVille Network. We're investing, just cut straight to the chase. We're investing another $5,000 into the set with 2 new cameras, more mics, so we're going to be able to get this show, instead of a one-on-one setting, maybe a group setting. What I'd really like to do is have one day each week is the entrepreneurial, the startup entrepreneurs, the people that are trying to come to market. We get 2 to 3 entrepreneurs that are trying to come to market. We introduce you to them, get feedback from them, take your feedback, crowdsource the feedback. So big ideas planned for the I Love CVille show and the I Love CVille network. I thought Buczynski killed it. When you see him walking around Crozet, around King Family Vineyard, city of Charlottesville, doing Cville Gives, tap him on the back and say thank you for being an asset to Charlottesville and Central Virginia. If you're considering doing business, consider it with him. Beatrick and First Heritage Mortgage and Michael Buczynski, great people. Let's thank the people that make this program possible. Harris Tolber, he is our director. He is good people. Western Albemarle and James Madison University graduate, just a kind, solid dude. And Harris, I mean that. Judah Wickhauer and Lauren Linsky making the show possible as our producers. My name is Jerry Miller. It's the I Love CVille show. I hope you enjoy your weekend. We close the same way. Charlottesville, Virginia. 2 things for me. Just 2 things. Please be good to each other. In Charlottesville and Central Virginia, let's live life by the golden rule. Let's all live life by the golden rule, and we'll take this awesome community to another level. And it is awesome. I love connecting with you guys. We will see you on Monday, February 18th on the I Love CVille network. Be easy, guys.
Dude, thanks, brother.
Did you like it?
Yeah, it was awesome.
So solid, right?
Yeah, it was awesome. You run such a great ship, man. You're so good.
Thank you. I looked at the clock and we were at the 23 marker. I'm like, he's killing it right here. This is what you can expect from us. So the sizzle reels we did, we're going to produce them today. We will syndicate the show in totality for 30 days. So the show itself, the hour and change, will be put in our network. Okay. Then we'll take the sizzle reels and we'll syndicate it across our network for 30 days. We'll get a picture with you here for this website.